Let's welcome Master Huang, and please be seated. Master Huang, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, and auspicious greeting to everyone, all our CG members in different countries. It's my honor to give a sharing today, and I think this is also a good chance for me to practice my English. But I'm so sorry that if, on my speech, while I'm using my broken English, I hope that you might can catch up some meaning that what I'm trying to say. So as the MC, our sisters mentioned just now, actually the topic that I'm going to share today is spiritual recycling. But I will, of course, I will do some further deeper on what it means spiritual recycling that I learned from our master training. So as we know that spiritual actually is like a formless, and I think for my definition on this topic, I think it will be like pure heart. We must harbor a pure heart, which is can create a pure land. This is what I mean for that. So as we can know that nowadays, in the recent times, there have been many observable anomalies in our weather. So according to the scientists, they actually have discovered that the primary causes of this extreme climate can be traced back to the pollution of the natural environment. But I think that this is a warning to our humanity, and with all the imbalance of land, water, fire, and wind, which is bring the imbalance came from the people's mind. This is what I learned from our master, because according to what I have heard from our master, she have been mentioned, and I have to say that the Buddha, in his wisdom and for Buddha's teaching, and he know that in the future, these man-made calamities would be even more severe. So therefore, the Buddha established many ways to help us. So in the Lotus Sutra, chapter 3, parable, which they have a lot of stories that are given by our masters. They're telling us what it means on the parable on chapter 3. They're telling us. And the very famous that we have known, if you've been listening to masters adopt wisdom for the master teaching every day, you might not, you might quite familiar with this, which is telling us the destructions caused by ignorance actually is just like a burning house. This is an analogy. And the three realms are created by our minds. What are they? Actually, like Buddha or Masters mentioned, which is we call the desire or the greed arise in our minds. And all is a response to the external conditions to form, such as sound or the smell or the taste and touch and so on. So if we greedily cling to this, I think then we will be certainly be burned. This is what the passage on the sutra, part of the sutras we mentioned. So this is the analogy that's telling us. So why our nature out of balance? I have to bring out the what they call is the global crisis issue, and we go deeper to the spiritual inner part. So from the phenomena that we see from the weather that we are encountering now is extremely very different from the past. So for what I learned from the Buddha's teaching is saying that actually we are sharing the same karma, which is there's a very word to say a collective negative karma, because we are sharing a world like this. So the environmental pollution actually is not a new phenomenon. As we know that always our master is very concerned about the whole environment, the whole global the crisis that happen nowadays. So yet, but it will still remain the world's greatest problem facing humanity. And for both development or the developing nations, we all share this burden together because all those human activities is making the earth a worse place to live. Do you agree that? But for me, I totally agree because in everywhere you can see the surrounding area that we living. Actually, you hardly can. I mean, you rarely can see it's very clean on the land. So this is how the world that we are having now compared to the world of animals. They won't create rubbish, but this, compared to our human being, actually you can see this is a situation that we are having now. So let us see that the environment issue actually is this video clip is telling us that all these are related to our human impact on the living environment or habitats, land use, or the natural resources that we already what is been going through nowadays. So let us see this. So
daily lives about climate change, created in the main through overconsumption, emissions, and non-biodegradable waste, unequivocally caused by human modern-day activities.
it's very short, but I think it's very straight away in telling us there have at least three main points. If you listen carefully, I think one of the mention is overconsumption, and also the every and the undegradable product that we produce in daily activities. So actually, as we know that the consumption is a natural part of life, since we human needs to eat and dress and socialize to live a fulfilling or the functionable life. So actually, what Buddha told us also, we humans are very easily enticed by things in our external conditions. What does it mean for? Such as I think we do shopping. Yeah. Even though before I renounced the lay life, become a monastic, I also did a lot of shopping with friends and family, and I think it made me feel happy. So this kind of like pursuit of happiness require us to satisfy a series of never-ending desires. So in the Buddhist way, actually is telling us, oh, this happiness actually is ignorant because they will drive us to be greedy. Because you have one, not enough, and you might want to have second, and three, and third, and you have a lot. And it will drive us to be angry if you buy something which is not what you want, and you might be angry the whole day or whatever. So it will create a lot of afflictions in our daily life when we encounter to all those activities that we are having every day. So such as but like the video clip just now I showed you just now, it's mentioned that by you probably go shopping, you don't go to the store and saying that I think I will buy some garbage today, and you pay money, of course you buy some rare thing. But depending on which products we choose, that is at least partly what we are doing. And by purchasing stuff that's overpackaged or disposable or of a poor quality items, and I think final your cash can soon will end up as trash, because what we see that in order the businessman and in order want to catch people's eyes, they are packaged, all those items will be packaged beautifully, so we actually consume many resources that have been wasted, and a lot of garbage has been produced greatly. So this is what we see nowadays when you do shopping, and or you maybe buy some gift or souvenir or whatever. So you can see actually we're using a lot of unnecessary things, but to just want to catch people's eye, they just want to attract people, a consumer, to buy the items, and to just want to make profit. So this is also the spiritual recycling. Is that we human beings will want to get benefit, and we're greedy and whatever. So all this will rise problems in our daily life. So and another way is like as a search on online buying during the lockdown within these at least 2 3 years, especially for this pandemic time, actually also has led to a vast amount of packaging. This is raising further questions over whether it is necessary or not. The concern that is still all those things maybe is not getting recycled very well. So this is what happened in our daily life. We don't say all these things are created by people, by other people, not me, but actually people, you, me, and he, she, or we, everyone. So I think we have the responsibility to get know well all those things so that we can have some changing for our future generation. Actually, this is very important. So by overconsumption, we let the shortage of the resources for natural. So nothing will last forever. Whatever you buy, all the things you buy today will eventually become waste in the future. Just like you can see the landfill mountain in every country. I think it's the same scenario. So so I can say that that's not a real garbage, but only misplaced resources. But what happened to these features? And I think as we can see that the world is just like a house on fire, which is because the world consists of all the human desires, and we give rights to all this thing, and everything we are all in one. So with the greed, and we always thirsty for some more. So we human will be let our greed go unchecked. So we never expect unlimited the no end for the desire. So we are resulting in the waste of many resources. So here's another video critic telling you what is the cost of pollution for the ocean.
Hey guys, one of the founders out here on a very polluted island in the Caribbean, and what may look like sand and rocks under my feet is actually mostly single-use plastic. It's wrappers and bottles that were used one time in their life, discarded up on land, and the weather brings it down to the coastline where it eventually lasts forever until somebody intercepts it and recycles it. So that's what we're here for. Just wanted to keep you guys a quick update on what we're doing, and can't wait to show you a cleaner beach in the future. Woo!
So as a result, that this is only one of the examples telling you, like the country in Manila, the river of garbage, for example, the rubbish will pile up the whole river over time. So the plastic cannot be decomposed naturally. So as you can see, all the rubbish that we create are ungradable. So it's very serious. Is it necessary for us to have to use all those things? And it's up to us to think about that. So maybe as our Buddhists, we whether you are a monastic or a lay person, practitioners of Buddhists, maybe you have read through the Amitabha Sutra, or maybe you have heard a lot about what is Pure Land. It's very beautiful or whatever. So maybe some people will say after they die, they will go there. So would you be the one who might say, this world is filled with suffering and dangers. So quick, go to the Pure Land. Are you the one have or make a decision that in the future when you end your life and you're going to do, you're going to have a mission that you want to go to the Pure Land? But I want to tell you that do you think that things will be better by going to the Pure Land? I think you might not realize that actually people live the harder life in Pure Land as well. So if you not familiar with the Amitabha Sutra, actually you will find the evidence in the Amitabha Sutra where the heaven beings in the Western Pure Land have to wake up very early and have to travel far distances to make offerings of flowers. And this is their daily practice. And after the traveling and offering, Do you think that you can go back to bed to sleep? Or no? You have to go back to chanting the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. This is what is stated in the Sutra, Amitabha Sutra. And also, it mentioned that you have to keep working because you have to constantly being the person of virtue as one. How do you do that? You have to have manners and you have to be diligent. You have to be responsible. So, and then after you take a meal and you have to do working meditation, you have to do exercise, and you also have to tend all the rest of the row of the trees, and you have to make sure the surrounding area are clean. All the plants, flowers are being, met very orderly or whatever. So, and then you have to maintain all the straw pavilions in a very clean conditions. So, Pure Land, it will be so beautiful and and very clean, and all the things have to put effort. So it doesn't mean that you go to Pure and you have to you don't need to do anything, but instead you have to do a very diligent work so that you can maintain a pure and keep clean. So this is what I want to say. So so that's why what I'm trying to say that our life is in the Pure Land would be just as hard. Yeah. Therefore, what's more important right now for you to begin is by nurturing your natural diligence in daily life. And one day, when you eventually arrive in the Pure Land, so everything will be easier for you because you've been already practiced quite a long time. So you already get used for the life of hardworking and diligent. And therefore, so when it comes to the climate change that we mentioned, I mentioned just now, although we are part of the cause, and I think we humans also can be part of the solution. So how can we protect? Through the Buddha 6 parameters, it was telling us that by doing recycling, you can practicing the 6 parameters. So let's go further and what I have learned from Master. So as the statement mentioned that we as citizens of this earth, we are all stakeholders, the climate and its change. So I think it is time for us to make a difference. So like Master say, if you want to save the world, and we must first heal our minds. So and Master also say that we must count our blessing, be content, and keep our desires in check, and we should never be wasteful or greedy. So we are happy because we join Shih and we get a chance to listen from Master teaching. So this is very good for us. So, but there's also a saying, actions speak louder than words. So Master actually bring us to walk the Bodhisattva path by taking action. So let us see a quick reel about actually our Shih recycling effort was started 32 years ago. So for doing physical recycling, we can progress to a deeper practice of spiritual recycling, such as how we can purification of our mind. So let us have a understanding about how we start. Actually, in August 23rd, today is July 23rd. Actually, another one more week, one more month, which is we're going to celebrate our city recycling missions is 33 years. So actually, it's Master on that 32 years ago, while Master was on her way to delivering a speech in Taichung in one of the high schools. Actually, she saw the street were little with the rubbish after the night market had closed on the last night. So with the disconcert by the listeners and motivated by a concern for the environment, at the end of Master's speech, and Master's finally she encouraged all the audience to use their applauding hands to protect the environment and to advocate the shortening of trust for recycling. So with our hands, we not just can protect the earth, but also we successfully to bridge the gap between purity of heart and purity of land. What does it mean? So at the beginning, after a young woman immediately responds to masses uh, 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 who she began to leading the recycling efforts in her surrounding neighborhoods. And even though she also donated funds that earned from the recycling to the charity. So this is how we start our mission of the recycling. So the charitable acts of turning trash into gold, the gold what I mean is cash, and the gold into the loving heart have been seen to spread throughout all Taiwan, overseas locales through all the dedicated of city volunteers until now. So, and I think in every country, if we have eco points in your community, I think you will can see that actually regardless of age or the educational level, the recycling volunteers, all of you will be facing the dirty rubbish, of which is maybe not too clean, and but you still do the sorting with humbleness and to bend out to do all this sorting as well. So I think this is what I call spiritual recycling because you're willing to let go of your egoism, right? So I think that you're starting to bow respect to nature. You are not the one who are suffering. So you start to know that you have to learn how to coexist with the nature, and you start to know how to coexist with all those what we so call the dirty, very not clean products. I mean people will say there's so rubbish, but for us, we cherish those things can be reused again. So it's a reusable, recyclable item. So, and although the recycling activity you attend will just last for only a few hours, it is hoped that the experience and the knowledge will be gained with the initiate positive change with in your family, such as maybe for the parents will bring the children to do the shopping. This is a very good education lesson. This is a practical compared to just sit down in the class and listen to the theory. So I think this is very wonderful thing that we are in action. And so the spiritual recycling, I think, is what from Master saying that is to get the most out of what you buy. So you have to be fully utilized for whatever you have. So I believe that for our volunteer who do recycling, I mean, while they do the sorting work, I mean, our volunteers maybe they can, raises the awareness of the wasteful habits of the consumerist culture, and the experience will inspire them to reflect on themselves, their own lives, and they will start to stay living with a less wasteful lifestyle, and will curbing the unnecessary consumption. So they will think, is it necessary for me to buy? And you will start to reflect that whether you need or you just want. So I mean, thereby in this way, I think we're gradually reducing the amount of the trust generated to our planet. So this is, I think, what our recycling volunteer that I want to say that the environmental protection in putting this practice in our daily life can help us to work on the 6 parameters and achieve a purifying of heart. So as we say, we are raising the value of your life more meaningful by giving of yourself to do good things. This is one of the first parameter, which is giving of yourself, and not just your time, but yourself and your personally your body to do good things. And the second is like the precept. How does it work? I think it's like you refrain instead can control or curbing unnecessary consumption. That is mean you are you control yourself and you are are upholding a precept. I mean you start to know what can do, what cannot do. So and the endurance or tolerance. I think that this is like you are despite of the smelling of the dirty condition, you are willing to do and to do this recycling work. I think this is not easy, especially for those entrepreneurs, businessmen, the successful people to willing to do the recycling. And the diligence means I believe that for our volunteers who do recycling not once a year, I think maybe every day or maybe once a week. So you every day you are diligently on doing this thing. And what is wisdom and what we call the meditation? And I think that if you concentrate on doing this thing, I think you're already in the state of meditation. And wisdom, I just want to say that in 2003, our Shih activists has set up the International Humanitarian Aid Society. This society is the main enterprise for the society for the purpose is for the disasters relief and to developing their mission is to developing technologies and the products from the perspective for environmental protection. What should I say? Is this is the example: returning the trash into gold, such as the usable materials, and we properly sorted all this plastic, and we have been carefully, recycling into usable material. So this is called the value shift of the oil mineral recycling. And finally, you can see that this is the eco blanket that we use for our relief distribution, whether in Western country or in the Eastern country as well. So we can provide all this eco blanket for charity use around the world wherever there's needs. So now, from the big issue that we have, and back to we focus on shifting into the home, which is the inner part. So we have to have the principle of cleaning up and recycling at the source, 清净在源头. And we need to tell family members or friends, and please, we only collect clean bottle and do not let them get dirty until we come to pick them up. So, and must also stress that apart from recycling trash, what is even more important is a call to return to a simple way of life. Is your home condition like this? Even though if you have this kind of attitude, when we do recycling outside in the community, when we're back home, is it we are in a different world of clean or very messy room? So I think that this is what I want to say is like the spiritual recycling is we are not just only doing physical recycling for ourselves. It's like we have to be learn what we have done the physical recycling. So if we everyone to curb the desire, buy only what is needed and cherish what they already have, what you already have, I think it will not happen in this kind of situation. So I will just say, describe this photo, this kind of home. Just imagine this is just like a fancy, a high class a landfill at home. So compared to what you saw, I showed you the photo just now for the ocean or whatever that we create the rubbish. So and we gain wisdom from practice of 6 parameters is what we have learned from doing recycling. For example, we are not just clean people's house, such as elder, seniors, house or whatever. So, but we also need to apply in our daily life. At least we start from ourselves. As soon as your home, as soon as your home become messy, and you clean it up, and you will start to do some action. This is what we have done for the elderly. But as soon as if your home also become messy, you have to clean it up. Everyone do the same thing. I think this is how we work. Yeah, and also um, recycling is the last resort. But if we can reducing the amount of waste that we produce, really the first priority for the environmental protection. But what muscles teach us is like to hope that every household could carry out a green practice, such as at the very least, we can carry our own shopping bag, or we can avoid using the disposable plates or the utensil for our daily life. So this is what we can start to do that for spiritual recycling, we can control. So, and another important thing is that recycling and reducing consumption are not the only ways to protect the environment. According to the studies have shown that the veganism or the vegetarianism is healthier for our planet as well. And for many of our TC volunteers who adopt a plant-based diet, I think maybe at the beginning, their original intention is to protecting the life of animals. But for the scientific evidence also has shown that the widespread adoption of a plant-based diet can reduce the food related to the emissions. So the way we breed animals as long being recognized by causing many ecological problems, like the livestock raised from the human consumption, such as cows, chickens, pigs. They all need substantial amount of food and water, and they also produce methane and other greenhouse gases, and also a lot of physical waste, the physics, and all of which have a negative impact on the environment as well. So if we want to reduce the human impact on the environment, I think another good way is to switch to a plant-based diet. I think this is the best choice. So as this photo says that the earth was created for all life, not just human life. So a pure heart creates a pure land. So there's only one earth. So no matter how vast it is, it won't get bigger. So as we are getting more and more people on this earth, the population is getting to reach the 8 billion in this world. So that means the development of the industry and the business is still in progress because there's a lot of population and more land that could produce crop is being used for other purpose. And where can we come by crops to sustain our life in the future? So I think the best way is to get a good start from practice of spiritual cycling. This is actually all of us have 3 opportunities each day to help to save the planet. What does it mean? Like for your breakfast, lunch, or your dinner? So actually, we have at least 3 opportunities to save the planet and to save your health as well. So we, as part of the Earth citizenship, which is carries with the right and the responsibility, and including the responsibility to protect nature and the people for the benefit of the common good. So one way to strive to make this responsibility, I think, is to leave animals, eggs or whatever, off your plate. So I think this is a slogan that I always see from the people who encourage people, please don't take meat. I think this is very important, and this is what I want to say is like we do. We want to save our world. I think the more important thing is that we have to have a good attitude. We have to foster good manners by through our spiritual recycling to get rid of the greed, ignorance, or anger, whatever. You will start from you start to be a plant-based diet because it will help you to have a good tempo instead of you are taking meat compared to carnivore animals. I mean the mama animals they will tend to be soft and have a uh, not to this. Yeah, I think this is what I'm trying to uh, say for today. Is like please everyone go for a plant-based diet is more important, and also um, I hope you all guys and can have a good day in every country. And thank you for your listening. And I appreciate that I have tried to share with you today.